Alright, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I kind of fumbled up this opening, but ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the FSL Mobile Legends Bang Bang tournament. Hopefully you guys had your toilet breaks because we are about to begin the grand finals, which is going to be a best of 5, and two teams, the best of the Philippines region are now here. We have the final two teams, Arkangel FE up against Finesse Empress. And I'm dying to find out who's going to be the winner of these two teams. So I think they're ready. Let's just jump straight into the draft. And we've already gotten the first phase of the ban done. We banned out Lupa and Popo. And we also banned out Bruno. We banned out the Grok as well as the Kaja. I think that's pretty straightforward. Arkangel, they kind of forced that carry first pick. I think Finesse Empress we'll be looking to either take up the Hylos. I think Hylos is pretty good here. They can kind of go for Uranus if they want to. Although, with the Uranus pick, they have to be careful of going up against the carry. And, of course, how can I forget the Tamus and Asper? I think they're gonna lock those two in. Pretty much gonna try to go up against Archangels, who are the favorites at this point. I don't know. I feel like in terms of playstyle, they are very similar, but Arkangel definitely looking to be a lot more aggressive in their games. They look a lot more. Their games have been pretty much one-sided so far. So I'm just for that very simple reason, I feel like they are the favorites. Although if you ask me, I think both teams are really strong. Definitely they are strong because they are here at the grand finals. So we'll see how that one goes in the game. I think draft is only half the story. But Arkangel, they pick up the Uranus and the Jawhead. And we have seen how dangerous they can be when they pick the Jawhead. They look so comfortable in it. And I think they will be looking to exploit this early game ganking potential that they can have if they pick up like an MM either. I don't think they go for Claude. They haven't really gone for the Claude. They look to pick up Kimi most of the time, so they're gonna be more than happy to give the Claude over because they've already picked up the carry. So I don't think they'll pick the Kimi as well. I think they look to take up a mage that's really good in ganking. Selena looks good, although Valor's also open. There are other heroes like, I don't know, even Digi looks good actually, to be honest. Digi against the lineup Finesse Empress, although there is an ass murder, so that shield that comes off a time's journey is not gonna be any effective at all in team fights. So maybe another support. I think Valor still looks good here. They ban out the Aurora. Kind of like an outlier ban, I would say. It's not something that you would expect coming out, especially in the grand finals. I don't think you have played the Aurora yet. Maybe it's kind of a target ban. Or maybe they played a couple of games yesterday night after their tournament and they realized, you know what, Aurora is pretty annoying to deal with, so maybe they just want to ban that out. Obviously there are other heroes that kind of similar to Aurora. Like I said, Valor is a really good example. Veil is quite similar if you think about it. A huge CC, a huge ulti that can set up combos, set up the fight for the rest of the teammates, and pretty annoying slow in most of the skills. But it looks like Finesse Empress, they pick up the Farsar. Arkangel ban out the Sicilon. I'm more excited to see what their mage pick is. I think whatever fight they go with, it should be fine. Terisla is not too bad. I don't think they... Oh, so it's going to be a roaming Jawhead. So they're going to pick Jawhead as a roam. I think that makes the most sense. And then Valor as like this mage that's going to be roaming along the hyper carry. Yeah, this is interesting. I would have not expected them to pick Jawhead as an off laner over the side lanes, because from how they have played, they really do like this very strong side laner. So I guess in some ways it does fit the bill because they want the Terisla to win that 1v1, and obviously Terisla is just annoying to deal with. I think they might just put they'll attempt at least to try to put the Terisla against I would say Terisla against the Asmar, that makes more sense. And then you put the Uranus against the Tamus, because the Uranus will have a lot of easier time, and obviously the shield and all that is gonna get eaten up by Wings, who's playing on the Asmar. So yeah, I think that makes more sense. And obviously the Terisla, he doesn't need shield. He's gonna have a lot of lifesteal in his kit So that's where he's going to be effective against the Esmeralda, because he's not too worried about any of the shield getting taken up, whereas the Uranus does have to worry about that. Finesse, Empress, they lock up with the Buxia as the last draft, and that's pretty much the first draft of the game. Remember, like I said, this is the grand finals and it is a best of 5, so no mistakes can fall to make here. Oh, you can make a mistake, but obviously you're not looking to do that.
5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them. All troops deployed.
Arkangel's looking to play a bit aggressively, and logically the matchup that they won, I think, you know, like I said, Uranus down the bot against the Tamus would do a lot better, and we might see the rotation here. And Terisla suddenly going up top. We do see a little bit of invade coming in. Dr. Chopper trying to peel for the Valor with the Ionic Disc, dropping really low. Oh, if he landed that, I'm sure that would be the first blood. But meanwhile, another invade coming up for Archangels and the bottom half of the jungle. And really comes down to who's able to steal that blue buff. Well, they did manage to secure that. But now the first blood coming through. They get the kill with Valor rotating down. The burst fireball too much for Wings to handle. And Archangels, they get the successful invade that they came for. And Birgit gonna be playing a bit safe. She hasn't really spotted anyone in the bot lane, so she wants to make sure that there is no one that wants to come in for the gank. Meanwhile, middle, Defrost. I think the toss will come pretty soon. Ejector onto the back line. Valor followed up by the Searing Torrents. That is a perfect combo. And they get another kill. They pulled that off perfectly. Ejector into the Searing Torrents just to push him further back in the back lines. Good combo there. And top lane is going to be the target next. When we go away, gonna be spotting those members on the Valor and the Jawhead. Not being able to get the gank off, but that's fine. Meanwhile, you see Esmeralda gonna be trying to cut this wave. Meanwhile, we do see an invade from Archangels. They're not gonna wait for the gank. Searing Torrents already used onto... Oh, look at that. They're all grouped up. The Feathered Airstrike is going to land on all 3 members. They're dropping really low. Follow-up coming from Raven. Go away. The Falling Star Moon able to pick up the kill onto the Valor. Flicker used at the very last second. Will get Defrost out and save. And it looks like Archangels, despite that unsuccessful invade, did buy some time for the carry to pick up the turtle. And while Finesse, Empress still trying to keep their opponents in check, still trying to stop this invade from coming through. Defrost looking to use Unstoppable Force. Spots out the Farsa. They managed to get the steal. And although it's on the Terisla, which isn't the best target, it is a steal nonetheless. Cool now. Doing a good job at making sure that Claude and Farsa can't chase them. Blazing Duet being used. And they know they can certainly take a team fight with Blazing Duet on cooldown. They want to get a kill onto Raquette. It managed to chase in onto the Ejector. No follow-up action coming up from Archangels. A little bit too far for them. The Flicker being used by Lexa as well. But now Yumiko lagging behind. Gotta use it. Trying to get out. will be able to get out of range. In fact, re-engages. Difrost now throws him away when he drops a Revitalize out of position, and Carry will be able to get the Q. But Valor getting gagged onto the back line. They forgo that. They get the Q. 2 more Qs for Lexa jumping in, and those stacks will do their job. A lot of mayhem in that fight. The Ion this damage coming through for Dr. Chopper, and I gotta say the Uranus left unchecked for the entirety of the fight. And those damage from the Ionics, this will add up. Significant enough to peel away for the rest. Although they didn't lose the Valor, they did manage to pick up 2 cores. And Arkangel looking to steamroll in this fight. And now they eventually will swap lanes. Meanwhile, another fight coming up. Searing Torrents. Baxia a little bit confused as to where to go. They block the spin, and they get the ejector off as well, just to stun up the Farsa. And Yumiko often left a little bit out of position because of the shield unity, but now Defrost is gonna spot it. It picks out 1 kill. The smart missiles will do the trick, and another fight happening in the jungle. Mitsuha has to back off. Yumiko once again isolated from the rest of Finesse Empress. And Archangels, they get the easy kill, and this carry is definitely starting to pop off. And in comparison, Raquette, who has yet to get the first major item up, carry 1 whole item up ahead, has the Endless Battle, already starting on the golden stuff. Demon Hunter Sword nowhere near completion yet for Raquette, and she needs that Demon Hunter Sword. Not she's not gonna be effective in fight now. They're gonna get the chase onto Dr. Chopper. They can't get the Q. And look at that, those stacks. Carry just immediately shredding him with the light wheel mark. And though she did not manage to get the Q, she did put substantial damage on it. Mitsuha now the next target, falling behind. And not even the Conjuring Inferno will save her from that. Dr. Chopper now putting a little bit of pressure more onto the second tier towers. They get the gank on the top lane as well. Unstoppable force. And Winx also has to use the flame shot to push the Jawhead away. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Dr. Chopper already taking the tier 2 as Murder, trying to proxy farm as well, just to try to put pressure on the top side, but Teresla's gonna come in time, and I don't think they will get this tier 1.
Turtle resurrecting soon.
And immediately Archangels looking to invade. They keep track of the timing, and they are on point. I think they did manage to steal away the blue buff. And they also get the kill onto Mitsuha. Enchanted Talisman completed for the Farsa, but she definitely needs more than an Enchanted Talisman. They need so much farm. Look at that. Archangels all over the map, not giving Finesse Empress any sort of a break. Immediately cutting the wave on the top side. They're gonna suck up all these shots from the Feathered Airstrike, not doing any damage whatsoever. They get the stun off as well. The Ejector gonna push in, and they complete the combo as well as the Q onto the Farsa. Raven going away, doing a lot of damage onto both the Valor as well as the Jawhead. But they're just gonna back off instantly, and that's not gonna amount to anything. Finesse Empress just constantly 1 step behind compared to Archangels, who are just playing so aggressively. They know they have this lead, and they know that they can kind of just bully Finesse Empress. Look at that, Yumiko going in with the shield unity. A bad call there, instantly gets taken out, and I don't think that even the Tortoise poisons will be able to do anything much. Meanwhile, Rain may go away, being isolated from the rest of the team. She will be kept alive because of her passive, but soon enough, the stun comes through and she gets shredded to pieces. Lexa, just too much damage on the hands of Arkangel at this point. And for the most part, Finesse, Empress haven't been able to have time to even catch their breath. Constantly ganked out by Archangels. And every single time that buff comes up, they're taking it. Look at that. Lexa double buff. Then you get Dr. Chopper, who's holding on to that blue buff that they managed to steal, and just like a clockwork, they will get the blue buff off Finesse Empress, who haven't been able to step on the base at all. They even have to resort to using Feather Airstrike to try to clear off those waves before they step into the tier 3. Now we've got Archangels. They know the Lord is up, they will take it. Calamity Ripper coming up on the Esmeralda. But look at that, Necklace of Durance already up on cool, and like I said, always one step ahead even in items. And this is just one-sided affair so far. Arkangel is looking to be a bit too strong. I think Finesse Empress, they want to force a fight here before the Lord comes in. Ejector coming out as well, tosses Baxia onto the enemy lines. Revitalize, not going to keep her alive. And meanwhile, we do have the super minion waves coming in the bot lane, top side, Lord pushing in. Uranus just trying to draw away the attention of Finesse Empress, and they get the easy route through the top side. The threat of the unstoppable force just looming over the heads of Finesse Empress, and they don't think they can do much. Terizla jumping in by his own. And the penalty zone used a little bit prematurely, but look at that, Mitsuha jumps in, has the current Inferno, but not even the ultimate will keeper. They do manage to burn away one immortality charge from Burgrave, but is that enough? Ejector tossing the Uranus onto the backline, and that is good enough. They stick onto Yumiko, who I think should go down pretty soon as well. The Ionic Disc will pick up that kill. And while all of that is happening, Lexa's just shredding the base wide open. They can pretty much go for the GG here. And a couple of last hits should do the trick. That's soaking up all this damage from the backdoor protection. And that's not going to be enough, as Archangels pick up an easy game 1. Finesse Empress not able to hang on to any sort of lead. In fact, I don't think they had a lead at all in that game. And you can kind of see it through the stats right now. A lot of damage done from the Esmeralda. In fact, Esmeralda was substantially the only one that did pushing. The rest were just busy trying to defend for their hanging on to their dear lives, in fact. And you know, obviously Lexa did the most damage in terms of turret, and you know, it's surprising to see that Valor is the only one that went down. And you know, it's obviously he's the squishiest target there. You know, she's pretty much the only one that's constantly being targeted, because there was just no other target they could have gone for. Carrie's just doing a good job at keeping the distance. You know, Jawhead and Terizla's just so hard to break down. You got Uranus that's pushing on the side lanes, you know, excelling in the 1v1 against the tower. So yeah, it's really no surprise to see that Cool was the only one that went down 3 times. But with that being said, you know, Archangels, like I said, looks pretty unstoppable, and there's a reason why they are the favorites at this point in time. And we'll go for a short break, but like I said, the best of 5, so it's far from over. Hopefully, you know, Finesse Empress can, you know, try to improve the draft. I think the draft wasn't too bad, but it's just that it's a little bit too late game. You know, Claude just not able to keep up with the pace of how Archangels were able to outgang. I really think that most of that game 1 came down to rotation. Archangels were just so quick at trying to be efficient, you know, constantly getting those targets, and with those invades, man, they were just really good, and that was through the Valor. So I think, you know, Finesse Empress should take out the Valor, either that or take it up for themselves. And it was really pretty much the Valor that allowed them to be that aggressive early game. I think if you take out the Valor, they will definitely replace it with maybe something like a Selena or maybe a Natalia if it's not banned out. But you know, the Valor just opens up so much option to be aggressive in the opening stages when you don't ban him. So we'll go for a short break when we are back game 2 between Arkangel's FE and Finesse Empress. Alright, so we are back after the short break, and as you saw, Arkangel's really dominant in a game 1 in a best of 5 series against Finesse Empress for the grand prize of 4,000 diamonds. And remember, this is just a one-off tournament. It's nothing gonna do with the FSL circuit. If you want to find out more about that, we'll release news to you as soon as the whole COVID-19 situation improves, and as the more tournaments are allowed to be held offline. We obviously want to bring the atmosphere back, but that is going to be left for a later part of the year. Like I said, we have to see how it goes. If you want to find out more about the news and FSL, you can always check out our Instagram as well as our Facebook page, and you can check out all the past games that have been played, the VODs on YouTube as well as Facebook. And you can, if you're watching this on Twitch, well, as long as the VODs stay up there, you can always watch that. I think the draft for the second game has really begun, so let's just jump straight into it. Finesse Empress now gonna take up the blue side, and we got Arkangels on the red. And it looks like we're gonna see the Grok getting banned out. I think Grok and Uranus banned out. It's fine. They pick up the Kaja. They're looking to secure like heroes that can rotate very early, and like I said, they have to be very aware of how Arkangel is playing, and that's they want to be aggressive. They want to pick up heroes that can gank early game. So heroes like the Jawhead, heroes like Valor, heroes like and heroes like Carry, heroes that can really exponentially increase from the very first minute of the game. And that's that's what Arkangels do best. They exploit that early game gank, and then they just snowball from there. It's just so hard to fight against them. So Finesse Empress, they steal away the carry, although Arkangels did manage to pick up the Tammuz as well as the Jawhead. So I think that's still a pretty decent pick. Finesse Empress, come on, you gotta pick the Valor. Don't give them the Valor anymore. That's gonna be a big mistake, I feel, in my opinion. They pick up the Qualifier, which I think is okay, but Qualifier can only do so much at the front line, and it's not like the Qualifier going into Arkangel's draft will make them any more of a threat, because like I said, they are looking for heroes that work off like from the get-go. From the first minute, they choose to secure the S-Murder first, and I think they'll be looking to ban out fighters, so like heroes like Xbox, or even heroes that can do very well against the Jawhead. I wouldn't say Jawhead, but heroes that can do well against S-Murder. So heroes like Terisla, I mentioned that Terisla against S-Murder, Terisla will do pretty decent because he doesn't really need a shield like Uranus. He's more of a hero that counts on that lifesteal, and with the help of Revenge Strike and Revenge Execution, I think, or not Revenge Strike, sorry, Execution Strike and Revenge Strike, I think just to hit the waves hard, clear the waves fast, and regen from hitting so many heroes at once. So he will do good against S-Murder, and this is why Arkangel choose to ban him out. They pick up the Atlas for themselves, and it's a slower paced draft IMO. Like in my opinion, I feel like it's a slower paced draft as compared to what they had in game 1. We'll have to see what the last pick is. I mean, they haven't really revealed the marksman yet. Claude's taken off the page. I think it might be a Kimi. Kimi actually looks good, to be honest. Kimi actually looks pretty good if they want to like put a lot of pressure early game. Granger's not too bad as well, and Granger obviously does have a little bit of the burst damage and Death Sonata, but yeah, Kimi just makes more sense to me. Kimi's just gonna help them invade early game, and Granger still needs like quite a bit of items to come online. Like he needs the Bloodlust X, or he needs the BOD to be really effective in team fights. Whereas if you look at Akimi, she just needs a glowing wand. That's pretty much about it. She's probably gonna build the her jungle items first, but it's really she's just so much more effective at ganking early game as compared to like you know, as compared to like a Gregor that needs a little bit of farm to be available. And like I said, the only reason why I think they'll pick up the Kimi before they did was because it's just their playstyle. They just love heroes that are cheap, and that's what I mean by heroes that are cheap is that heroes that don't need too much items to be effective from the get-go. And Kimi is just one of them. You look at the heroes that they have, right? The Jawhead, Esmeralda, Kimi, heroes that don't need items but still effective in fights. And aside for Finesse, Empress, they look pretty good as well. Like they have the carry, they have the Kaja, and they have the Xbox. But the question is, can they get the carry up as fast as what, you know, Archangels have? And I'm a little bit hesitant about both the Camilla and Kaja pick. They're both pretty meta, but you know, it just means that one of them is gonna have to be on side lane. And I have voiced my concerns for Camilla on side lane. I feel like Kaja is gonna be one roaming. But either way, like it really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, like I think they're looking for a pause. I'm just gonna help them pause up for a bit. But yeah, I feel like the side of Finesse Empress, although they have a lot of meta heroes, you know, you look at the Kaja as well as the Camilla, like both heroes, as good as they are as a support, I don't really like them on the off lane. I feel like when they are in, you know, in the 1v1, you know, in the side lanes, they don't really do as much. You can't really, you know, utilize them to their full potential, because at the end of the day, they're just good supports. Like Kaja's really good at ganking, Camilla's really good at soaking up damage at the front, the Scarlet Petal, you know, she's good at peeling, she's good at slowing down the opponents while, you know, being able to soak up damage in the process. But, you know, you put her in the 1v1 the off lane, she's not gonna have enough damage at all, she's not gonna have enough lifesteal to win in a 1v1. Yes, Crimson Flower does do a decent damage, there's Curse's Blood as well, but all of these work in team fights, they don't work in 1v1 as compared to like an Esmeralda or like a Jawhead or even like a Tamus who excel in side lanes, and you know, they are able to function as fighters. Whereas, you know, I just feel like Finesse Empress will lose out on that portion, and that's my concern for that. Let's see how that one goes. And we're gonna see a bit of aggression there. Archangels picking a fight that they cannot win, and now Finesse Empress looking to apply pressure in the jungle. Meanwhile, they have already taken the blue buff away from their jungle, and now they're looking to start a fight. Dr. Chopper did a good job of delaying that push, and here comes Lexa as the rest of the gang as they start to pile the damage up. Look at that, they get the first blood onto the carry, and they might be even to get triple kill. And looks like both of them are gonna share the spoils of that fight. And more importantly, I think they managed to secure the blue buff away. Yeah, I think they did. Yep, the Jawhead did manage to pick up blue buff. So Archangels, they not only did they manage to successfully invade, they also take their own blue buff, and they also got 3 kills out of that. And that is just a scary. That's the perfect beginning you can ask out of any game. And like I said, they love this Kimi pick. It's something that will help them. In the opening stages, they've really taken the turret down to a quarter of a HP, and that's less than 2 minutes. They missed the wave just a couple of seconds, but it's fine. You know, Kimi's just gonna rotate around Mitsuha already. One more hit should do the trick, and then level 5 Kimi. Oh, the maximum charge coming in at the very last moment, allowing her to get the kill. And top lane as well. What just happened? I think Kaja kinda died for that. And yeah, I'm not sure what just happened. Bergrid did manage to break a kill onto the Kaja. And Archangel just in full force right now. Game 2 going. It feels like a game that was made for them. And this is where we're gonna see Tamus do a lot better. We're gonna see a pause come up. A request for a pause, but yeah, I gotta say, at this point in time, Archangels are just, they look so strong, not only in draft, but also in the way that they make the draft work. And that's what I mean. Like, you know, you kind of saw it coming, but I would have expected them to be this strong in game 2. They stole with the blue buff, and Esmeralda, you know, Dr. Chomper, she did what she could to hold on and try to delay the blue buff take, and she did it successfully long enough for Lexa as well as the rest of Archangels to come back, defend it. They got 3 kills out of there. And I think the surprising thing for me was that Birgit did manage to get a solo kill onto Wings, and I don't even think it was a solo kill. Like, it was pretty much 3v1, although it was underneath the turret, and that was just exceptional play coming from Birgit. And now we are looking at a monstrous snowball effect coming through. Like, look at that, 2 minutes 42 seconds, and we've got Archangels who are up by 3.1k. And we haven't really looked at items yet. I don't even think if I want to take a look, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be so one-sided. But I think Finesse Empress still have a way into this. We have seen that if a carry goes really super late game, she can pull the game back. But given how Archangels are, that's just like they would need to lose like 2 major team fights at this point for, you know, Finesse Empress to get a foothold back into game 2. And, you know, obviously they don't really have a lot of heroes that can clear waves quickly. Yes, they do have the Xbox with the fire stakes and fire missiles, and you also have the Camilla with the crimson the crimson flowers. But, you know, it's still early in the game. They're not really good at defending, or rather not them as a team, but the heroes that they have are not really good at defending the high ground. Not high ground, but, you know, the base. And I just feel like they need so much more time on the heroes to come online. And this is why I said that I didn't really like picking up both the Kaja and the Camilla. If you pick up the Camilla as a supportive mage and the Kaja as the roaming tank, I think that's okay. That's perfectly fine. And then you pick 2 other fighters that's a lot better. Like, I think Xbox is good, but instead of picking up the Krufra, maybe you swap it for something else, or maybe you sacrifice the Kaja and then, you know, you pick up another fighter. Either way, I think that would have been good. But with this draft, you're just gonna see Archangel bully the 2 supports. Like, Tamu is definitely gonna out damage Camilla in a 1v1, and, you know, Xbox is substantially the only fighter that can hold his ground. Although you already saw what happened there with the Kimi, and the fact that they won the early game. They're just putting so much pressure on the sides that it's almost impossible in any way for Finesse Empress to even push this wave off. I really think it's just a draft. It's just an issue of the draft. I know Finesse Empress, they are a good team. Like, I've seen them perform in the semifinals. They did well in the first game as well. But, you know, when you come up against Archangel, you have to first of all stop them in the draft. You can't really allow them to pick up this early game meta which they like. And, you know, next part is that you just have to win them in game. You just gotta out aggressive them, not aggressive, out aggro them. We are waiting for a little bit. And yeah, I mean, like, they can put a little pressure. They have the Krufa at the end of the day. They still set up all these like wombo combos. Because I can see what they're trying to do. Like, you know, you can kind of set up with the Tyrant's Revenge and then into the Tyrant's Rage. You try to stun as many members as you can, and then that's where, you know, the Xbox comes in with the last Insanity. So they still have that wombo combo going for them, and not to forget there's Camilla's Curse of Blood. So if like they can group all of the members up together, the AoE damage will be insanely good, and they should be able to win like team fights like this. That being said, will Archangels give them that opening? Will Archangels, you know, group up as 5 and take a team fight when it's not unfavorable? As long as they look out for the Krufa and they kind of stay dispersed until like a 5-on-5 really starts to break out, I think they should be fine. So that's kind of like the conundrum that I have when it comes down to breaking these fights is, It's really like the wombo combo is there for the taking, but will the opponents give them that chance, right? Because Archangels, they're superb and positioning, they're really good in terms of spotting out like the opponent's weakness, and at this point they're just exploiting it so well. Looks like the game will resume. Archangels now walking into the red buff. They did manage to take it. Gonna give it to the Jawhead.
Turtle resurrecting soon.
Look at that X-Block at this point. Only managed to hit level 3. Wing still level 2. So no Divine Judgment and no way to soak him up. The Fatal Links coming in. And they get the kill onto the Camilla. And now we're gonna see Lexa put on a lot more pressure in the middle. They're just fighting underneath the turret. They don't really care at all. And I think Yumiko has to be a little bit careful. Smart missiles, one more hit should do the trick, but they will gladly allow the Qualifier to escape. While the rest of Archangels will start pushing out the side lanes. Asmodem also pushing on the bottom. Mitsuha yet to hit the level 4. No loss is any. We'll get it as I speak. Yumiko trying to jump onto Asmodem, but the charge was a little bit too long. She's already gotten away. And Bloodlust X coming out from the Tamus. That's a really quick Bloodlust X. And they're already in the jungle. They'll probably try to isolate away Finesse Empress from this tier 2 and the bot lane. And they will try to get a Q there. Camilla in a bad position will have to back off. And looks like we're gonna see them go back to their farming ways. Like I said, Archangels will look to isolate the members of Finesse Empress from this bot lane. They're setting up a gang. Oh, Qualifier coming in, jumps onto no one. That is a bad Tyrant's revenge. Or rather, Tyrant's jump, and they won't be able to do anything much. The Fatal Links comes in, they get the kill onto Yumiko. They get another kill as well. They finally take down Dr. Chopper. But look at this, Mitsuha just getting cleaned up by the Kimi. And Archangels just completely crushing these team fights. They get the tier 2 and the bot lane. I'm pretty sure they will start to make her way, or she will make her way towards the turtle now. Meanwhile, top side, Tamu's just cutting these waves, just proxy farming, while the turret gets shredded to pieces. Fleeting time coming up for the Atlas to help with the cooldown for the Fatal Links. And now they are on the chase. Cole did manage to get the Fatal Link onto the Qualifier using the Annihilate as well. And the damage is going to peel away for Lexa, who comes in to get the kill. I mean, Cole did sacrifice herself, and despite them not being able to pick up any Q there, they did manage to bring down both Riken as well as Mitsuha, and that's going to allow them to pick up that tier 2 in the middle. Objective, the name of the game for Archangels right now. Look at the goal lead that they have. That 8k goal lead. And this hasn't been the easiest game for Wings. She did manage to just hit a level 7, so you do see the experience gel starting to balance out a little bit, although it's still like majority are still in the way of Archangels, and now they try to force onto the top lane. I think Atlas is going to go down. A little bit of a bad team fight coming in for Archangels, but here comes the Kimi here to sweep things up, gets the kill onto the Qualifier, and I think this is a dead Camilla as well. Maximum charge landing at its full potential, and they get the kill. DPS, Queen's Wing coming out for Bergrit, and this is going to be one hard Tamus to kill. Meanwhile, Finesse Empress just left with the tier 3s in the lanes.
Turtle resurrecting soon.
And it looks like we've got a double tank setup. Even Jawhead is just going through defensive items at this point just to soak damage. They isolate the Qualifier away. Tyrant's Ridge onto 4 members. But where's the follow-up? There it is. The last insanity comes in. They get the kill onto the Jawhead. They wipe out the Tabus. They get the kill onto the Atlas as well. But here comes Lexa. Look at that. Oh my goodness. A monster of MM. And a good stun coming in at the very last second from Rain Go Away to stop the maximum charge. And Alexa was busy taking the turtle, and that's why she wasn't there for the team fight. And that was a small win for Finesse Empress to a certain extent. Like, they need these kills way more than Archangels, and you know, every single kill that they're getting will hopefully close that gap. Although Archangels working on the bigger side of things now, they did manage to get the turtle despite losing that small fight. And you know, Lexa also came to clear up 2 kills onto, I believe, was the Xbox and Raquette, so that is still not a big loss for them. In fact, Kimi's got the BOD completed. She's probably going to build into the Genius Wand, either that or the Ice Queen Wand. Both are fine. I think Genius Wand should be better because they don't really need the slow, and she can just build into damage and just burst heroes up at this point. Archangel's just cleaning up the jungle, and they'll probably just wait for the Lord to come up before making the next move. You know what would be a really good item? I think Blood Wings just on the Kimi. Like, she can just go full ham, and I think Lexa has that in mind. You can see she's already gotten the tier 2s up. Like I said, if she really wants, she can like just go super greedy. And I mean, at the end of the day, she's already completed both the magic wand. And if she wants to, she can just go for the Blood Wings. She can kind of just skip the Genius Wand. She doesn't really need like anything else. Like I said, she doesn't really need the Ice Cream Wand as well. And she's just so far ahead that getting the Blood Wings is gonna just add so much more damage than what she already has. And at this point in the game, you know, it doesn't matter whether you're near, far, wherever you are. Lexa is just gonna hunt you down. And 7-0 right now. She's even got the Purify. So even if she does get caught out by, she's like in an imminent threat by getting caught out by the Kaja or the Kufra, she can just pop that Purify and she should be fine. But you know, Finesse Empress at this point in time have bigger trouble in the hand, and that is the macro play coming for Archangels. How are they going to cope with this rotation? Because if, let's say, they lose game 2, there's still a game 3, and I'm sure that Finesse Empress are not going to go down without a fight. And I want to see how they bounce back from this, because I feel like the key to stopping Archangels is in their rotation. And so far, you know, none of teams that have come up against them have been able to do that. And for the most part, Archangels are just so aggressive in their rotations that it kind of makes it hard for the opponents to even have any pockets of breathing space to farm safely.
Legendary.
Oh my goodness, the damage coming out from Lexa, instantly just bursting down Raquette. And we're gonna see another pause come up. Finesse Empress. 27 seconds without the carry, and I think that tier 3 in the middle is pretty much done. I don't think they can really defend against this. Like, although it's only like a 3-man push, it's still gonna be pretty hard unless they can get a jump onto the Kimi. But even if they do, like, Atlas is just sitting on top of Lexa, and Cole can just use Fatal Links whenever Kimi's in trouble. Like, think about it, even if the Kuruva jumps onto her, she has Purify. She has Cool to help her there. They can kind of use Fatal Links to bail Lexa out. There's also like the Jawhead with the Ejector. They have just so many tools to defend this Kimi. And this is just the epitome of hyper carrying at this point. They're gonna get the easy tier 3.
Lord resurrecting soon.
And looks like Arkangel, they will be contented with just taking the lot at this point. Don't really need to force their game in their favor. "10 minutes lot on the dot." Looks like Finesse Empress, they will try to clear up the super minion waves before they come in, but things definitely looking grim as the lot pushes down mid lane. And Lexa will look to try to isolate, man. Look at that, instantly jumping in the falling stun wound. And they pull out the last Insanity, but I don't think it's going to be enough. It's going to be a 5-man push. Atlas will probably go down, but Atlas doesn't even go down before the game ends. And that is just a testament to how strong Archangels are as a team.
Victory!
And yeah, I don't know what to say. At this point, Archangels are just looking pretty much unstoppable. 2 wins now. The score wasn't updated, but you know, it is 2 wins for them. And Empress just getting steamrolled, I would say. But I think it's 2-0, and you know, it's a best of 5, so we still have, or rather, Finesse Empress still have a chance in this. I think Archangels are just looking to be undefeatable, or rather remain that invincible record that they have so far coming into this tournament. And I gotta say, like, I've really spotted, I've really identified why they're so strong. You know, hopefully Finesse Empress can do something about the draft in the 3rd game, because I guess in some way, if they want to mount a comeback, that is where they have to start with, and it all comes down to draft. You gotta stop allowing them to take the early game draft. Like, I know you want to pick up the Camilla, you want to pick up the Kaja, but it's not gonna work. It's just it isn't greedy, but they're good heroes. But you gotta put them in the right role. Like, Camilla in the offlane just doesn't work. Kaja in the offlane as well doesn't work. They need to pick something more sustainable. And I know Terizla was kind of banned out, but you could, I mean, even a Badang would have been better, like more sustainable, or maybe like Marsha will work pretty well as well. I'm not sure what's banned out. I kind of forgot. Sorry guys, I kind of forgot there. But you know, there's other heroes that you can look at. I mean, the one that really comes to my mind is Bane. He's like super underrated. I think Bane, if you know how to use him, is pretty good. There's Guinevere that can kind of sustain as well. Leomord's still open on the board. You know, heroes that are really good in just soaking up damage on the offlane. It's definitely better than Camilla at this point. But like I said, they were looking for the Wombo combo. It didn't pull off, but hopefully they will be able to get things going their way in game 3. We'll go for a short break. When we are back, we will bring you game 3 and what potentially could be the last game between Archangels FE and Finesse Empress. Alright, and we are back for, like what I said, potentially the last game between Archangel FE and Finesse Empress. This is the grand finals of the FSL MLBB tournament, and it is the Philippines edition, and we are already in the draft, so let's just jump straight into it. don't want to miss any of the action right now. Arkangel FE so far have yet to drop a single game in the tournament. It's been 2-0 throughout, and in this best of 5 they're looking to complete the dream result, and that's going to be the 3-0 over Finesse Empress. Obviously, Finesse Empress on the other hand looking to complete a reverse sweep. Hopefully they can at least win one game in the series, but they banned out both the Uranus and Kaja. Arkangel kind of banned out the one Lupa, and they also banned out the Bruno. They pick up the carry, and I think they're looking to pick up something similar in game 1. Obviously they are and the same size as they were in game 1, and they swapped out for game 2, but I think they're going for something similar. So it's important that Finesse Empress don't allow that to happen. Like I said, you gotta take away all these early game heroes that they're looking for. Take away the Jawhead, take away the S Murder, heroes that Archangels obviously are very comfortable in using. Tamu's still available on the board. I think picking up the Tamus would be pretty good. They go for the Grok. They really love this Grok pick, and I'm not sure if that is a good pick, because that's kind of, you're gonna give a lot of these heroes that Arkangel have really shown that they want. They're gonna pick up the Tamus, they're gonna pick up the S Murder for themselves, and we're gonna see pretty much a deja vu of what we saw in game 1. Obviously the Uranus has been banned out, so that is pretty decent on the part of Finesse Empress. They also prevented the Kaja pick. But we have seen that Archangels, they have like substitutes for all these heroes, and that's the issue with fighting against a team with a huge hero pool like Archangels FE, is that they are very comfortable with it. Like you ban out one hero, they immediately sub it in. We saw that happen in game 1 and game 2, where they took away the Jawhead, and or rather I believe they took away the Kaja, and then they pick up the Jawhead. You take away the Valor, and then they pick something that's pretty rather they pick a Jawhead tank as well as a Qualifier tank, and so on and so forth. Finesse Empress, they pick up the Cicelon. I think banning out a tank would be pretty good. Like Valor would be a pretty good ban now. You can choose to ban out the Qualifier if you want to, because you already picked up the Grok. You can ban out the Atlas. Yep, they absolutely ban out the Atlas. And I think Archangels now, they should ban out like Claude. Claude is the next best thing to ban out. You can either ban out the Kimi as well. Heroes that can, or rather MMs that can outscale the carry will be pretty important ban out. They choose to ban out Terisla, so I think they're more concerned with heroes that can sustain against the S Murder. And that's understandable. It's important for Arkangel to try to get this S Murder going as much as they can, and try to buy time with the S Murder for the carry to farm in all the other lanes. And Finesse Empress, they will be looking to pick up an MM, but I think they will leave for the last pick. They can actually pick up another fighter first. There is actually, they're still going with the Camilla pick. Not sure how they're gonna make this work though. Like, they can get the Grok to go mid. They're gonna put the Camilla in. Archangels, they can actually go for a ganking lineup. So yep, they can. I mean, Valor is open. There's Selena as well. Both actually do pretty much the same. It's just gonna allow them to be aggressive. Ooh, we might see the Aurora pick. I mean, in the first game, Aurora was kind of banned out, and I was pretty surprised at that. I did mention that Aurora is something that I definitely wouldn't have expected getting picked out. And it looks like they pick up the Kimi. So yeah, Finesse Empress, they want something that can in some way outscale, or rather scale faster than Arkangel, and Kimi will do the trick. She definitely scales faster than the carry, although the later the game goes, the better it is for Arkangel. And they have a pretty decent draft. I still don't really like the Camilla in the side lanes, but I think if they can delay this game, I don't recommend delaying this game. The later this game goes, Arkangel is just gonna be monstrous. You look at the heroes that they have, they are looking to just swallow you whole towards the late game. You got the Asmada, the Fasa, heroes that are just monstrous late game, and the carry just well on top of all that. And you know, Tamus is also gonna need a little bit of farm. So I think Finesse Empress have the early game advantage. You know, with the Camilla, with the, no, not Camilla, but you know, with the Grok, the Jawhead, as well as the Kiwi, they can look to set up a couple of ganks. But they need to do it fast, because if Archangels they push the distance, the later this game goes, the better it is for the team that just loves aggressive play themselves.
Welcome to Mobile Legends! 5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them! All troops deployed!
Remember, we are in the third game between Arkangel, FE, and Empress. This is the grand finals. I know whichever team wins this grand finals, I would just be happy for that. I think both are really strong teams, and obviously, although it looks like Archangels are currently looking or poised to take the crown of the grand champions, it is not over just yet. Finesse Empress still have a way back into this, and hopefully it starts with a successful game tree for them. They have been undefeated in the tournament up to the grand finals. I gotta say, that is an interesting lane composition coming up from Archangels. They put the Thomas on the bot lane, and initially I thought it was a I thought they wanted the Farsa to go onto the fighter side, but it just a little bit of mistake on my part, and we might see a team clash here, or a team fight here. Archangels, Ring of Punishment coming up from Defrost. Will happily soak up that maximum charge. Like I said, Archangels are looking to get this carry online ASAP. They do need if the first game is how they're gonna build, then obviously they are gonna build the endless battle first, and then they'll go for the golden stuff. They run straight into the far side. It gets the stun as well, but because of the Chroma, will not be able to do enough. In fact, Cole will have to go back top lane. Camilla getting caught off guard. Mitsuha trying to stay alive as much as possible. Lexa, and that's gonna be pretty much a first blood coming through. One more hit from Lexa should do the trick. They get the first blood. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Bergrit didn't use the ultimate there. I think if she used the ultimate, she could have withstand that fight and can't even win that 1v1. So that being said, it's important that the fighters in the lane do not die. That pretty much is their role. It's just to try to outpush the opponent. Here we go. Making things a little bit hard for the side of Archangels, and that is that early game power coming up from the Grok. You know, the power of nature. You've got a useful CC in the wall. Here we go. Definitely doing a good job at isolating Archangels, but now they want to take this turtle, and it's gonna get delayed because of Finesse Empress ability to just push them back. But like I said, you know, the later this game goes, the better it is for Archangels. You can see they're just more than happy to just sit around, wait for carry to farm up. This is just slightly detrimental for Finesse Empress, because as each minute passes by, we're gonna see the carry become even stronger. And remember, she did manage to get up first blood as well. Esmeralda now jumping the back line, wall charge coming up. Yumiko trying to get the wall charge to run out of distance, but it's not able to do so. Now Dr. Chopper stepping up, one more hit from Alexa will get the kill onto the Sicilon. Maximum charge not enough. And they will go back to taking up the turtle. Raven go away, sticking around. They want to look for the steal. Revitalize being dropped by Archangels. Law and Order used to stun up Lexa as, or not Lexa, but Riket as the rest of the teams pick up. Sorry, I'm just so used to Lexa playing the Kimi. Minotaur under pressure by the Siege Crypt. But Archangels already onto the top side. Feather airstrike, not gonna land his mark, but it's more important that Finesse Empress just make sure that the carry stays safe. Law and Order being used to stun up the Grog. One more hit should do the trick, and yes, it is. The trolling shot coming up from the far side will get the kill, and they also get another one onto Mitsuha. They should be able to get this tier 1 pretty easily on the top side. Meanwhile, Ejector to stun up the Tamus, and she's just trying to fight back, trying to buy space. And she will eventually go down. Good gang coming in for Finesse Empress, but look at the top. And it's all about efficiency at this point. In fact, Archangels have this 2k goal lead over Finesse Empress, and you know, it's definitely a lot slower compared to game 1 and game 2, but like I said, it really came down to draft. You know, you look at the heroes on the side of Archangels, it's a slightly late game. They didn't manage to pick up the Kimi, they don't have a Valor, they don't have a Jawhead, you know, heroes that allowed them to exploit the power spike of their heroes in the first few minutes. But now Finesse Empress finding themselves under a little bit of a siege. Revitalize being used by Hylos. Just allow them to drop, you know, dive a little bit of the tower. Raven go away, trying to be as annoying as possible against this Tamus. In fact, he will be able to get the first kill, or rather the solo kill. Top lane. Oh, Finesse Empress now starting to bite back. And I sense a little bit of a slip up coming from Archangels. Definitely going to be a bad fight for Dr. Chopper. Not sure why she dived back in, but that's going to give another kill in the way of Finesse Empress, who have managed to now, for the first time in all 3 matches, overtake Archangels in the goal lead. And not only that, Archangels also lose the tier 2, or rather tier 1s in the mid and the bottom. Finesse Empress definitely very happy with themselves at this point. Turtle coming up, or a Lord coming up in 40 seconds, and the next major team fight is gonna decide who gets that. Maximum charge. Just gonna put a bit of damage down to mid. Not, you know, no real intent in taking out a fight there. Esmeralda, you're gonna have to defend the top lane by herself. Meanwhile, Finesse Empress, they want to do to Archangels what they received in game 1, and they nearly even bring down the Fasha. And Hylos is just pretty much there to delay the tick while Carry and Tamus are pushing down already. Looks like they're gonna trade the tier 2s. Esmeralda, under the effects of Revitalize, it's suddenly hard to bring them down. In fact, Camilla is the first one to go off. And here comes Fasa as well. One more hit. Raquette has to be careful in position. Can't afford to take too many of those feathered airstrike shots. A bit of a greedy play coming up from Tamus as well as Carry. Bergwit suddenly going down there, trying to buy time for Carry to take the Lord, but unable to do so. In fact, they will chase Yumiko away from that hiding spot of hers. As Archangels, they finally get a sense of a challenge from their opponents. Finesse Empress, like I said, definitely not good. Not gonna go down without fighting. Spots out D-Force, and Cicelon's gonna try to just pew at the HP. Asmode jumping in with the falling star move. They get the kill onto Raquette. That's the key target they want. And Grog's just there all by herself. Rain dropping in with the smart missiles, but has to be careful. Does not take too much damage in the process. Well, D-Force and Ku are alive. Near death, but alive. And they will go back to just heal up before rejoining their friends in the Lord's Pit. Meanwhile, Mitsuha trying their best to give information to Finesse Empress. In fact, she might be wanting to steal the Lord, a bit ambitious on the part of Mitsuha. She will go down there, but she set up this fight available for them. Lexa's gone down, and now Finesse Empress can look to turn the fight as Mars is dropping really low. Yumiko is, but look at that, Finesse Empress. They bait the fight, and Archangels they were caught in a bad fight there, bad positioning as well. And you could see that I mean they were just dying to take the Lord, and despite getting it, they give away a couple of kills, although Lexa's gonna come up immediately. A little bit of a wise choice coming up from Raven, go away to try to jump onto the carry, but they did not manage to steal away the Lord. And now the super minion waves, Archangels, despite losing that small little skirmish, they can now look to push in with the Lord, and in fact they can even take a tier 3 if things go their way. Finesse Empress, they want to bring down this Lord as fast as possible. And Lord, as a meat shoe, has served its purpose. Archangels now, they have room to push down the tier 2s. And not only do they get the mid, I'm pretty sure that the top one will go down by itself. Jawhead in a bit of trouble. They managed to get a kill onto Code, that's good. But now the fight breaking into the middle. Glorious Pathway being late, but no follow-up action right there. And those creeps, they definitely do hit hard. And although the tier 3s are alive, that was just a small glimpse of Archangel mounting that comeback. And now they're up ahead by 2k. And it certainly does look like Finesse Empress have slowed down just a little bit. And they have to be careful of this late game potential. They are sticking right on top of this Hylos, but still super hard to kill. Feather airstrike to clear out those waves. Raquette gonna be joining the fray. Fight breaking out in the jungle. Mitsuha's gonna try to back off from this one. Meanwhile, Asmurder on the top side pushing in onto the tier 3s at the top. And they're just gonna have to back off now. No ejector coming up. And that is one happy Asmurder. Well, Winter Truncheon coming off the far side, she kind of realizes that she needs to stay in the fight. And if Jawhead jumps on her, she can immediately use the Winter Truncheon to keep herself alive. Like I said, the later the game goes, the better it is for Arkangel's items almost up for everyone at this point. Ice Dominance coming from Yumiko to slow down the attack speed for the carry, who, you know, hasn't gone the usual build that she has. But she has gone for the Rose Gold Meteor. Just to provide a little bit of sustainability, she's also gone for the Athena Shield. I think it's the damage that's output that's coming out from both the Kimi as well as the Camilla. That's a bit of an issue for Lexa, hence this item build. But she does she's sacrificing so much damage just for sustain, and Dr. Chopper trying to force an opening for Archangels here. Oh, I think Tamus is pretty much dead. Bad impact, and somehow will stay alive. Dr. Chopper coming to the rescue. In fact, Lexa, ooh, from the side, they managed to kill the Grok. They get the stun as well. Law and Order onto Mitsuha, but no follow-up action right there. Archangels, despite all the odds, they managed to get a kill. And I gotta say, that was just poor positioning of Finesse Empress. A moment of a mistake, and that kind of cost them the Lord. Twilight armor coming from Mitsuha, but that is definitely not gonna help much. I gotta say, against this Lexa, who I mean, like I said, the build is really for sustainability. You can see she's going Wind Talker as well, so that's just to help with the attack speed that she's lacking, because she didn't go for golden stuff. She's not going for, you know, she's not really going full aggressive. She's trying to sustain the fight, trying to deal out, and hopefully that DPS will start to add up as the fight kind of prolongs. And now Finesse Empress, they know what they have to do here. They get the kill! The Bat's Impact followed by the Bat's Feast. Too much for Farsa to handle, and they get an important kill before the Lord pushes in. And that's definitely gonna help. That's one major source of damage down for Archangels. Later Despair coming off a Jawhead, and they should be able to get this tier 3 down the bot lane. Kimi has to be a bit careful. Asmona now jumping in. Now is the time the Archangel should take the fight. Kimi just came back from the base. They managed to get the kill onto the Sicilon. They take down the Jawhead as well. And now Archangels, they're forcing their way into this fight. Mitsuha just staying alive with those Crimson Flowers. But I think it's a little bit too late. Dr. Chopper now finishing what must be done. And it's Grok going down. And there it is. The grand champions of the tournament. And it is none other than Archangels FE. I mean, what can I say there? It has been a pretty one-sided fight in this matchup. But in the third game, you gotta say Empress threw everything that they got at Archangels. And despite all of that, it was still not enough. Archangels were just so too strong. And they held on. And true enough, they did manage to bring it all the way down to the late game. A couple of times where I saw Empress did really had a chance in that fight. We saw, you know, they managed to take down they managed to take down the far side in a couple of this fight. They managed to take out the Tamus, but that was just due to Archangels trying to buy time for the carry. And like I said, you know, Tamus going down a couple of times in the bot lane, just buying space, delaying Finesse Empress from taking the tower. And true enough, at the end of the day, Archangels, their draft worked out, and I think that they're pretty much, you gotta say, they were undefeatable in this tournament. They did not drop a single game at all. and even showing flexing a little bit of that flexibility on the carries drop itemization, you know, choosing to build into a more sustainable build to keep herself alive in the fight, realizing that, you know, building into just purely going for that damage build that she usually goes for, you know, the golden star, the building into the golden staff might not be the most optimal, so she decided to go for the rose gold meteor as well as the windtalker. And I mean, the windtalker is just there to help with the attack speed, but you know, building into a Tina shield because of the damage output coming up with Sicilon, and this I would say partially due to the Kimi as well. And you know, you look at the items that Finesse Empress have, and they have a lot of range on both the Kimi as well as the Sicilon, so it kind of makes sense to why Lexa kind of built into it. You can see the Archangels were just trying desperately to, not desperately, but you know, to a certain extent, trying really hard to hold on to that early game aggression that Finesse Empress were outputting, and it succeeded. And you know, they must be feeling pretty proud for themselves. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that game. I definitely did, and what can I say? A big shout out once again to official partners and Dreamcore, Super Solid, as well as Yahoo TV for being our official partners for this event. And you know, big shout out to all the viewers at home. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my casting. I certainly enjoyed watching those games, and you know, a couple of close calls in the fight. Obviously the closest one was in the opening game. I think it was SGP Fam up against I forget who they were up against. I think it was also up against Finesse Empress, and that was a game to behold. That was like so close, but you know, eventually it is what it is. With that being said, once again, congratulations to Arkangel FE for being the grand champions. They will walk away with 4,000 diamonds. Finesse Empress, hold your heads up high. You put up a good fight, especially in game 3, and they will also walk away with 2,000 diamonds for being the runner-ups. And you know, to brand esports victorious, as well as I believe it's Next Play Predator. Next Play Predator Tempest. Sorry, they came in 4th place, so both of them will walk away with 1,000 diamonds. So that's not too shabby as well. And finally, my name is Aries. Hope you guys enjoyed all this. The next additional tournament should be the Indonesia one. So remember to like and share the stream, as well as follow us on social media on Instagram as well as Facebook. To find out when the next tournament will come up, and we'll also keep you guys updated with the FSL circuit when news gets updated on that. Once again, I enjoyed this entire tournament, and I'll see you next time round.